Hey, on Locked On Rockies. I kind of forgot to talk about something important.
You are Locked On Rockies, your daily Colorado Rockies podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Rock on Rockies fans, welcome into the Locked On Rockies podcast for today, the third day of May. We are running into the Washington Nationals as Rockies fans, as the Nationals head to town for a set against the Rockies. We are going to break down the one key player that it's kind of an obvious answer, but of course we got to talk about it. But before we start talking about the next series, we're still going to talk about something I forgot to mention in this series against the Reds, when a major part of the Rockies organization makes his debut and steps onto the big league diamond for the Colorado Rockies for the first time. I'm, of course, talking about Luis Montero, the probably biggest prospect in the Nolan Arenado trade. It steps on the field as a member of the Colorado Rockies for the first time this season. And what does he do? He goes 2-for-4, doing what he's been doing at the minor league level as the DH for the Rockies on Sunday. We're going to talk about that and how important that was for the Rockies as well. And we're going to talk about an article from Purple Row, where they're diving into Hilliard's plate discipline. Has it improved? They got some numbers. We're going to dive into a piece by Skylar Timmons over there on Purple Row. Sam Hilliard's discipline has improved. There's a little spoiler for you as I set it up. But let's start with the big exciting news for the Rockies. Getting this prospect, getting Montero up into the major leagues and having him be successful. Yes, it was the Reds. Yes, it was a historically bad day for the Reds, and the Reds are historically bad. However, getting called up, the immediate call up, getting to the emotions, the energy, and picking up a couple of hits, doing exactly what he needs to do is exciting. And I think it's something that will start. We're going to keep hearing the name Montero, and it's going to be something we're going to continue to need to focus on and look at, because he has been really good so far this season. And since the Rockies have put him in the order, there's a reason the Rockies went out and got him this year. His batting line in Albuquerque, 288, 356, 806 with four home runs, 12 RBIs, and a couple of stolen bases. His minor league career, 272, 344, 785, 64 home runs, 290 RBIs, 7 stolen bases with 505 hits. Montero is going to be someone that's also focused on and getting a lot of attention from the Rockies, as they have moved him. Originally picked him up as the third baseman, have moved him now to first base. And what does he get? Oh, I don't know, just one-on-one time with one of the best to ever do it, in my opinion. I think Todd Helton is someone that brings an invaluable amount of baseball knowledge, maybe some knowledge about figuring things out along the way as well. I mean, Todd Helton has been far from perfect in his life, and especially in the post-baseball career, but for him to be able to go in and get back into the action with the Rockies, give back and get fired up in minor league games without when not understanding the pitch clock rules still, that's going to be valuable, because learning the embrace of good Rockies players is something that it has been an enjoyable thing for me to see for the Rockies this offseason. We've talked about it and throughout this season. I think embracing the success. There is success in the Rockies franchise. There is the Hall of Famer now with that walks amongst the Rockies. There should be now soon to be hopefully 2 Hall of Famers. And for Montero to be able to be getting reps, exclusive looks, and extended work with a top tier first baseman is really exciting news, especially when he's also going to be able to interact with and talk with CJ Cron and see what's worked for Cron, and of course working with his partners in Albuquerque and such. But that will not be the last time that we see Montero come up and make an impact. Unfortunately, goes down with a couple of I don't know if he struck out twice. I know he struck out once in the game there, but it's going to be we will see him again, and then it's been great. Let's head over actually to the Purple Row before we dive into the other Purple Row article we're going to talk about here. Kenneth Weber doing the Pebble report here. Shortstops Adel Amador and Ezequiel Tovar continue to thrive. Eloris Montero makes the show. It was a great week for the Colorado Rockies farm system. The Albuquerque Isotopes split a series at home against Sacramento. Hartford took their series on the road at Harrisburg. So did Spokane in Everett. But the star of the system was the Fresno Grizzlies. After dropping 5 games last week, the Grizzlies rebounded in a big way, sweeping Stockton on the road. The biggest star in Fresno's sweep was shortstop Adel Amador, number 17 on Purple Row's prospect list. Amador tallied 11 hits in the series and posted a 4.23.5 under 962 line and 26 at-bats. Over half of his hits went for extra bases, 4 which were long balls. The 19-year-old now leads the California League in hits and home runs while boasting the second best OPS. Like Ezequiel Tovar last year, Adel Amador's performance in the season's first month indicates he's primed to be a breakout shortstop for the Fresno Grizzlies in 2022. Possibly the biggest story surrounding Albuquerque this week was the promotion of Eloris Montero, number 5 on Purple Row's ranking, to the Major League roster. After a strong 3-game start to the week, Montero got the call and made his Major League debut on Sunday, signaling in his first Major League at-bat and finishing the day 2 for 4. Due to the active roster shrinking back to 26 in May, Montero was reassigned to AAA following his debut. After the game, he was talking about how hungry he is to get back there, how much he enjoyed being with the club, and man, it was just there is some energy with him, and it's really great to see. He gets to come up, get a couple of hits, and I guess I've been watching some more clips here. He was putting some into the bleachers during BP, so really great to see. And on top of not only Montero picking up a couple of hits in the series, we also got Brendan Rodgers breaking out and hitting as well. So a lot of things to kind of some Rockies news we didn't really talk about yesterday in terms of the crossover with Locked On Reds, some of the storylines that we might have missed, but always not too much you can take away from Montero's short time, but for the Rockies to look to Montero to have him call up and be someone that's ready to go if the Rockies need to bring up some depth and have him come up and get a couple of hits and get that taste. I think is a good sign for him and a good sign for the Rockies in the future. Unfortunately, it had to come with Chris Bryant on the DL for the back injury as well. Didn't get really necessarily some super encouraging news. On MLB Radio today, when asked if there was any concern, MLB Network Radio on Sirius XM, when asked if there was any concern surrounding Chris Bryant's back injury that landing him on the DL, Skipper gave a reassuring answer. Not so much. By the end of the week, we will be in a good spot to hopefully activate Chris Bryant. So we'll see about that. We'll see if the Rockies need to continue to make moves, but the players like Montero and might not get as much of a chance here with the roster crunch as well. But good to see Montero. Hopefully we see Chris Bryant back as well. And great to see Brendan Rodgers go out there and have a nice day on Sunday and gobble up some RBIs with a couple of big hits. We got more to talk about from Purple Row and some more storylines to talk about for the Colorado Rockies. But before we do about that, we got to tell you about some of the great people that make things happen. And with spring in the air, it's a time of renewal and growth, personally and professionally. As your small business grows, LinkedIn Jobs is here to make it easier to find the people you want to talk to faster and for free. Folks, if you're not on LinkedIn, you're missing out on a great opportunity for you to connect and interact with people and engage with not only potential candidates and a whole lot more, but you also get a much deeper, much inside look and a much easier way to communicate with your potential employees. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 810 million people. Yes, that's right, folks. 810 million people. Then add your job and the purple hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring so your network can help you find the right people to hire. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who do you like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonmlb. That's linkedin.com/lockedonmlb to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. Also, folks, don't miss out on all the action at BetOnline. BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting stats and sports info. If you want to get in on the action with the Rockies and the Nationals, let's take a quick look over there at BetOnline and what we got going on for some of the stuff here today with the Colorado Rockies. Let's scroll. John Gray's is back pitching. That's good to see. However, we're not focused on John Gray. We are focused on the Rockies. Where is this start time? 3:45, 3:45. I'm scrolling. Don't worry. Here it is. There we go. Ramon Marquez on the bump. You can take the let's see what we got here. The run line minus a run and a half there. That's what the line's looking at. The under 10.5 there for the total runs scored. You can check that out there. There's all sorts of great stuff that you can bet on at BetOnline, including the live betting if you want to see. They also got the first 5 run innings. They got the team points. They got the game props, including parlays, and all sorts of cool stuff you can get into with BetOnline. So head on over to the website today, betonline.net, and use your mobile device or website to stay up to date with all the trends and action at BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, let's head over back to Purple Row. Sam Hilliard's discipline has improved, Skylar Timmons writes. I think I speak for many of us at Purple Row when I say that we are big fans of Sam Hilliard. Not only is he a high-quality individual, but we have seen the raw athleticism and talent he has to show on the field. Fortunately for Sam, things have not gone as planned at the big league level after he turned some heads in his September call-up in 2019. The prevailing trend has been an overabundance of strikeouts, a low walk rate, mixed in with some glorious home runs. Now, that could change. Back in March, fellow Purple Rower Mario DeGens talked about how Hilliard could become the Joey Gallo of the Rockies, but in order to do so, he would need to improve his plate discipline and approach at the plate. 1 month into the season, with some semi-regular playing time, Hilliard appears to be more comfortable taking that next step forward. Through 14 games this season, Hilliard has a 3.68 on-base percentage, which is currently the highest it's been since 2015 when it had 3.97 OBP in rookie ball. Perhaps the most telling stat that points to is his improved OPP. It's the fact that he's drawing walks and making contact at an increased rate while striking out less. In 38 plate appearances, Hilliard has drawn 7 walks and struck out 10 times. For reference, Hilliard drew 9 walks in 2019 in 87 appearances and 9 walks in 114 appearances in 2020. Even in his limited big league playing time, that included plenty of time in the minors in 2021, Hilliard drew just 23 walks in 238 plate appearances. Entering Saturday, Hilliard has posted a walk rate of 18.4%, which is 8 points higher than the 10.3% rate he posted in 2019 during his September called-up. I'm going to skip forward here as well. He's also not only walking more, but he's batting more balls. Yes, home run numbers are way down for Hilliard this season. However, that isn't as bad as it may sound right now. Strikeouts and quality contact was a struggle the past couple of seasons. Despite having some of the best raw power on the Rockies, that tool was moot because he couldn't put the ball in play. That's changing this season. A key indicator for that change is Hilliard is hitting more line drives. At 23.8%, Hilliard is driving the ball more on a line rather than uppercutting the ball to the moon. Line drives indicate that he is hitting the ball more level and driving it more cleanly. On Friday evening against the Cincinnati Reds, Timmons, who is writing the article, Skylar Timmons is writing this article, saw Hilliard hit an absolute laser to center field that was caught for an out, but it was a great piece of hitting. A lower fly ball rate of 28.6% is okay for now because he is making contact and driving the ball around the field. Lastly, Hilliard's approach at the plate is so key to these improvements that we are seeing. In the past, Hilliard has chased more and more outside of the zone. He had a career-high 30% swing rate outside of the zone in 2020. It lowered slightly in 2021. But entering Saturday, he was swinging at pitches outside the zone of a staggeringly low 16.5% of the time. Not only that, he is swinging at more pitches inside of the zone and making more contact on those swings. He's developed a better vision of the plate and is more selective in the pitches he's firing away at. Skylar goes in more in depth on some stuff there. So Sam Hilliard's discipline has improved over on Purple Row. Skylar Timmons writing that. And that's major, folks. And that's something I want a lot of Rockies' philosophy to be when it comes to hitting. Line drives for contact, keeping the ball in the air. Yes, you don't want to negate that launch angle. Yes, we want Sam Hilliard putting the ball over the wall more. But for hitting for contact, keeping the ball in the air and hitting line drives is going to take advantage of a lot more situations where you don't need to solely rely on the long ball. The Rockies can become a better team by hitting at contact and hitting for doubles. And we've seen it so far this season. Rockies have success when it's a single that leads to a single that leads to a double. Look at how Brendan Rodgers scored his runs this weekend on Sunday. Brendan Rodgers was able to clear the bases with doubles. I would love for the Rockies to not only be a top team in home runs. Yes, that's important. Yes, that's a tool and something the Rockies need to do. And we're seeing the Rockies do it a little bit. Hopefully going to do it a little bit more when Chris Bryant starts putting the ball out of the yard. But the Rockies being a team that leads in contact and leads in low swing rates and leads and lowers their strikeouts is going to be a huge benefit for them. It's going to be the difference between the Rockies winning and losing games at home. If the Rockies are able to continually create good, solid approaches and aren't just relying on one big hit being a home run, and instead of plate discipline, draw out the pitchers, make them pitch to you more, and then hit a single, a line drive in the gap for a double. Those count. Singles and doubles are wonderful things for the Rockies to utilize both home and away, especially away. The Rockies need to take a contact-first approach on the road. They need to take a mentality of, our goal is to just put the ball in play and to score runs and to try to generate the offense that we can at home and utilize and try to figure out how to break free from some of the trends and some of the things that they've seen. And I think by having an idea, by taking a mindset like Hilliard is taking this year of contact, putting the ball in play, and better plate selection or better pitch selection and plate discipline, that is going to be the secret to unlocking better road Rockies hitting performances. I want the Rockies to hit home runs. I want the Rockies to hit more doubles. Because I think if the Rockies hit more doubles and if the Rockies are able to take that approach, they are able to draw out pitchers more. They're able to I just find we love home runs. Clear the bases, yes. Hit it where they're not, absolutely. But there is something that's pretty good when you're going up against a tough starter or someone, or if you can get a starter to 30 pitches by the third inning when they're going into the third, if you can get them to pitch more than 15, 20 pitches in the first inning and get really good, solid looks at it for everyone, it's going to benefit your offense. It's going to benefit the entire, the whole scope of everything for the Rockies when it comes to their offense, and for players like Hilliard to do it, and for players to, and for us to see the Rockies, if we can continue to see throughout the season, all of the Rockies taking steps at better plate discipline and less reaching, it's going to help the Rockies win those close games we haven't seen them win, especially on the road in the past. Though good plate discipline, good approach, the willingness to take pitches and wait for your pitch and make sure that you are swinging at pitches in the zone will be the difference for the Rockies in close ball games, especially on the road. Yes, they need the bullpen. Yes, they need the pitching, and they need to keep playing defense and all that and things of that nature. But to help with the woes of the runners in scoring position, just man, that's the approach I want to see. But it's also so hard to just sit there and take pitches when people are able to just throw gas, or if you get down quickly in an account with some of these relief pitchers, with some of these arms we're seeing out of the bullpen and some of these starters, it's just so hard to get out of those holes too. So the aggression needs to be there. But that's the beauty of hitting. That's the art of hitting. It's so hard to walk that line, to navigate that world of consistent good approach, while also being aggressive enough to catch your opponent off guard as well, to take advantage of their mistakes, to jump on something. That's why, man, it's just when I look at something, when I appreciate the art of sport, the art of hitting is something I appreciate more and more these days, especially with how hard it is to do and with how hard some of these arms are throwing. But it will be big time if Hilliard can continue to show improvements on his plate discipline and be able to continue to put balls in play without striking. I mean, lowering strikeout rates is the first step to show that you are making adjustments and improvements at the major league level. And with the Rockies being willing to play so many options and have most of these players and put these different pieces in, that's how you're going to keep getting more playing time. That's how you're going to see Sam Hilliard being in the lineup more, is if he's going to have a better approach at the plate, because we know he can launch the ball out of the yard as well. Speaking of people who can launch the ball out of the yard, there's one person the Rockies have to really be careful with here in this weekend. And I think it's pretty obvious who that answer is. But before I spoil it for you, I want to tell you about our friends at Rock Auto. Listen, folks, with the ever increasing numbers of makes and models, it's now impossible for your local chain auto parts store to stock all the parts that your car is going to need. Well, guess what? There's already a place that's doing that for you, and that's Rock Auto. RockAuto.com has all the parts your car and truck will ever need, and they got it right there at the convenience of your own home, or, maybe you're waiting in line somewhere. It's right there in your pocket on your phone. Don't go to the auto parts store and just sit there and have them look things up on the computer for you. You can do that yourself. You are more than capable. You're sitting here watching Locked On Rockies on the YouTube channel. You know how a computer works. Do it yourself and save time and money. Don't spend 30%, 50%, 100% more for the same parts from a chain store or car dealership when you can just head to rockauto.com, a family business serving do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years with reliably low prices for every day. That's where you want to go. That's the place to be. RockAuto.com. Their easy-to-use website has got the solution for your auto parts needs. Go to RockAuto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car or truck. Right, Locked On in their How Did You Hear About Us box so they know that we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. RockAuto.com. Folks, the big, the Rockies need to limit the damage from one Juan Soto. He is going to be the one to watch in terms of the Rockies needing to limit the damage. Soto, 4 home runs, 262 average, 5 RBIs this year. You know that he can come into a place like Coors Field and swing it. But on top of Juan Soto, Josh Bell has been really swinging it well for the Rockies, or not the Rockies, for the Nationals this season. He's batting currently this year. He's got a couple of home runs, 15 RBIs in his last 7 days. He's gotten 8 hits and 22 at bats, 3 doubles, 3 RBIs, and drawing a lot of walks there. 5 walks. Got them strikeouts up at 4, though. So maybe the Rockies can take advantage of that and get the Bell a little off balance there, but he is currently batting .351 with 2 home runs, 15 RBIs, and 963 OPS. Those are some pretty impressive numbers here that coming into a place where they can get a lot crazier real fast. Soto, 262 average, 4 home runs, 5 RBIs, 867 OPS. Luckily, however, the Rockies got the man on the mound that they really want to see a nice, sharp, dominant performance from in German Marquez. See if he can go a little deeper than that 3.2 innings in 7 hits, 7 runs, 4 of them earned in his last appearance when he got shelled by the Phillies, where he couldn't miss a barrel whatsoever. Back-to-back losses for the Rockies when German pitches with the Phillies, both against the Phillies here. So looking for the Rockies to get back on track. However, German was pretty good in that first start against the Phillies. Not great, not really sharp, but not horrible. 4 runs is quite a bit. Those mostly came up on the solo. So the Rocky to watch tonight is German Marquez. He is the Rocky player that we need to see a nice, sharp performance. They're at home. He's got the offense to build him. They got a nice little 3-game home winning streak. They washed away the nastiness that was that Phillies series. Keep the momentum alive, and it's going to start with German coming out and being sharp on the bump to start. Really would like to see Marquez come out and dominate tonight and send a message for this series and send a message again for this early Rockies team to dominate, because they need to be able to turn to Marquez, and they need to be able to turn to him in starts like this to be able to shut the door. And if Marquez comes up and has a good day, that offense needs to be ready to back up as well and score some runs. But the Rockies are at home, so you feel a lot better and more confident in their abilities to do that. So my focus not so much on the offense tonight for the Rockies. It is going to be on German Marquez. He is the player that I'm wanting to see a lot from. I'd like to see him come out and have a solid start. Get into the first month is there. He's got a few starts under his belt. Let's start seeing what these starters look like now with the season kind of starting to get in that momentum. The pace is going to start increasing. The division games are coming. I'd like to see the Rockies shake off some more of that early rust, and especially when it comes to starting pitching and depth in the games that they are getting. In the live chat here, Adrian Ortega says, got to take advantage of these bad teams. You're absolutely correct. This is the stretch that we've talked about as a super important stretch for the Rockies in the beginning part of the season. You took care of the Reds. You dominated the Reds. That's great. Even if you split the series, that's fine. Let's be realistic. Getting sweeps is hard, but they're also coming into a place that's even harder for people to play, which is Colorado. Be the dominant team at home that you are, especially when an 8-16 team is coming into town. You need to be ready to roll. You need to be able to take on a pitcher that's currently sitting at an ERA of 6 with, he's given up 20 hits, 3 home runs. He's got the 19 strikeouts. So the Rockies need to make sure that they eliminate they can strike out a lot. They need to eliminate those as well. And that's going to start, Nick, that's a key point you mentioned there with B-Rod to continue to turn it around. This will be a good start for him too. A pitcher that's able to get a lot of strikeouts like we're seeing from Eric Fedde tonight. That's going to be a good one for the Rockies to go in there and see how Rodgers is feeling. But man, that's those, even if it's the Reds, it doesn't matter. The impact, the type of impact you have on the game, like Brendan Rodgers had yesterday, that's the momentum you need. That's the energy you need. That's when you go into the clubhouse and you're not just sitting there saying, finally, I got a hit. You're feeling like I contributed. I played a massive impact on this game. That is the player I know I can be, and that's the player who I know I am. And that should be something major, because if Rodgers is able to get it going, that is going to add some flair to this offense that we haven't seen so far this season, and a major impact, especially while Chris Bryant still remains out of the lineup. So Rodgers is a player to watch as well. But again, my focus tonight is going to be on the Marquez start. I'd like to see 6 innings, like to see under 2 runs, and I'd like to see a nice 5 strikeouts. That's what I'm hoping for, and that's what a nice solid start like that for Marquez set this series off right. Nick, you nailed it. But playing the Reds after the Phillies was a blessing, and the Rockies took care of business though. They knew and they understood the assignment, and they did it. Keep it going. Keep the momentum rolling. Have a nice, good stretch of winning baseball continue as long as possible, especially when you have the favorable schedule. Because again, we've talked about this before. After the Rockies meet up with Washington here, they head to Arizona and then they head to San Francisco. Road trips, but the Rockies in Arizona, I'm more confident in their ability to score there. But after the Rockies in this set with Washington, here's how it goes. It's Arizona, San Francisco, Kansas City, San Francisco, New York. That's a tough stretch with back-to-back San Francisco series, including a 3-game set on the road. Kansas City can be sneaky as well, but they're coming into Coors Field, so that's the benefit there. You got the Mets coming into town as well. Lots of good teams coming into and a lot of tough baseball ahead for the Rockies. Brandon Kramer in the chat says, Connor Joe and CJ Cron will both be all-star selections. Cron in the Derby. No arguments here right now. I mean, you keep it the pace that you are. Rockies fans need to step it up and take on some of these players, because at least in the early part, at least in the beginning of the season, the Rockies have shown that they do have potential all-stars. And folks, if you want to join in on the live chat, just like Adrian, Nick, and Brandon are, you can subscribe to Locked On Rockies on YouTube, and it's a massive, massive help to us, folks. It is going to be a huge, huge help and a benefit if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and tell your friends, tell your families as well. It's a massive, massive help, and it helps the show grow, and you can do cool things like pop into the live chat, hang out with me on the old webs, and talk Rockies baseball, what we love to do. Adrian, you nail it on the head. It is the Mets. I actually think the Giants are going to be the first big test for the Rockies, how for real they are. 6-game sets against the Giants, both a set at home and a set at away. That is going to be, I think, really be a huge test for the Rockies. The Giants are real again. The Giants are good. The Giants have always been a thorn in the side for the Rockies. So yes, the Mets, of course, are going to be a huge test for the Rockies. Mets are very good, but you got to get through San Francisco twice before you're getting to that Mets series. So that's kind of where my focus is more in the immediate. But that stretch from May 16th to May 22nd, that's a huge 6 days of Rockies baseball, and how real and how competitive this team's going to be, because it's a home series, it's a home stand, but it's San Francisco with the Mets right on the back end of that. So the schedule gets only more and more intimidating and more rough for the Rockies going forward, especially with the lack of division games they have played so far this year. So taking care of the Reds, taking care of the Phillies, or not the Phillies, because they didn't do that on the road, taking care of the Nationals, and then taking care of the Diamondbacks on the road. You gotta do if you want to keep this early season momentum rolling. Folks, that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Rockies. Thank you all so much for joining us and for listening to the show and for making Locked On Rockies your first listen of the day. We are free and streaming on your favorite streaming service. All you got to do is search Locked On Rockies, and we are there. Hey, I said it before, I'll say it again. Locked On Rockies on YouTube. Your YouTube subscription is a massive, massive help to the show. So if you wouldn't mind going and hit that big red subscribe button on the Locked On Rockies YouTube channel, you're going to know when we go live, and you can pop into the live chat just like Nick, Adrian, Brandon, and lots more all did. Folks, thank you all so much. Now that you've made Locked On Rockies your first listen of the day, go make Locked On MLB and Locked On Now your second listen of the day. You're going to get an inside look of the world of Major League Baseball and a whole lot more with those great podcasts. And you can stay up to date with all things Colorado sports with the Locked On Avalanche, Locked On Nuggets, Locked On Broncos podcasts, and more. Avalanche playoffs starts. It's today, right? The Avs are underway today. So go Avs, go. Nick, thank you for tuning in. And Rockies fans, until next time, this is Paul Holden saying so long from the Locked On